Hi troops, so just a quick one before we get started on this video. In light of like the recent events of the news of kids that were like going hungry because they aren't having their school meals, I was just thinking of things to do that I could use my influence, however big or small it is, for the better. And I thought of, so I've shared like below like links that you can help, so you can donate online, or you can actually like take some food to supermarkets for this charity that I found that's based in Glasgow. But I was also thinking as well that my Depop, maybe if I sell stuff on there, then I can just put all the fees towards donating the money as well. So that's what I'm going to do. So if you buy anything off my Depop, then all the fees are just going to go towards some food banks around Glasgow. And if you don't want to buy any clothes, like, that's absolutely fine. You might not like my taste in clothes or whatever. Then I've popped some links below as well for how you can just donate directly, so whether it be money or whether you actually go out and, you know, get the actual food for the food banks. So yeah. Right, okay, so this is a get to know me while I carve a pumpkin. I don't think I've ever, have I carved a pumpkin before? Don't know. She's not perfect. She's had a rough life. Who's not? You know what I mean? So we can all relate to this pumpkin. She's not, we'll call him a he. We'll call him Paul. Paul the pumpkin has had a rough one, but he's made it through the trenches, so I hope I can give him a nicer life. I got carving tools. Oh, perfect, right? Look at that. Can you see that? So basically it's just a stencil, so I've got a pencil, and I'll just carve it like that. So cool. If this pumpkin turns out rubbish, if my pumpkin turns out rubbish, it's actually going to really affect me mentally. Like, I will be lying in my bed tonight at 12 o'clock, like, why are you not good at carving pumpkins? It's actually such an issue I have. Is that Capricorn energy? I'm not sure. Or is that just being a competitive bastard? I can't quite put my finger on the moment in my life where if I'm not perfect at absolutely everything, it destroys my mental health. Don't know. Right, first question, how old are you? I'm 13 by the looks of it, carving a fucking pumpkin, doing a YouTube video. Should I have did this part off the camera? Probably. Are these any easier? The answer is yes, much easier. I'm 25, I will be 26. I'll be 26 in January the 9th. Fun story for you, my brother and I share our birthday, so we're both born on January 9th, and my mum and dad share their birthdays as well. It's a pure icebreaker I use. Seen any job interviews, like, tell us something interesting about yourself? I feel like, say no more. What was your first job? Well, technically my first job was a junior in my mum's salon. She's a hairdresser. She used to have a salon and she had me working there since I was about 8. No, kidding on. I think that she don't do her for slave labour or child labour or whatever. No, I was I wanted to do it anyway. I think I was maybe like 13 or 14 when I was like she got me into like sweep the floors and that, answer the phones, and then I got a promotion to washing hair, which was class because my mum gave me the money for it. I think she gave me like £20 or something for a Saturday shift, and then, which was class for like being 13, 14 or whatever. What you spend that money on, you're going to Cineworld. Got really good tips as well. I did a couple of shifts working in burger vans. That is the hardest graft of my life. I will never have a job that will be a harder graft than that. The first time I did it was my friend Sophie, and it was at some bagpipe competition or something in Glasgow Green, and it was like a 14-15 hour shift. When I say I was gubbed, oh my god, was I gubbed. No one asked you, Jelly, what every single one of your jobs have been. You'd ask what your first job, but that's not really like technically a first job. I would say like my first proper job where I had a contract was I was in Debenhams as a Christmas temp. So I would say that's probably like my first job. Actually, I only lasted there about a week though, because then I seen that Cruise, which for no one that's from Glasgow or has a cruise in their city or where they're from, it's like a high-end retail store or something. So I was like, oofed, heavy glow up from Debenhams. And they were doing interviews there. It was actually my cousin that was in the shop, and she was like, Jilly, they're looking for staff in there. And I was like, here we go, see you, Debenhams. And I worked through there basically for the whole time that I was at uni. Okay, long-winded answers. Next question. Wait a minute, let me focus. Oh. This is the minging bit. Hey! okay, oh wait. Stop being a drama queen. Next question is, how did I get into fashion / how did I get into influencing / did I go to uni? So basically like work, life or whatever. So I studied at Glasgow, Cali in town. Probably anyone that's out there will slag me for going to that uni because apparently it's not a real uni, but for what I wanted to study, it was the only uni in the whole of the UK that did that course. So if you're a uni snob, then shut up. I studied fashion business, absolutely hated my life. I hated uni with a passion. But anyway, it did lead me into my first job, which was working at a fashion brand that's based in Glasgow. God, I really don't feel like I'm getting anywhere with this. I don't want to put anyone off from going to uni or studying that course. I think it is a really popular course for people in Glasgow that do want to study fashion, and a lot of people I know that did study that course did end up getting into jobs in fashion. Like the first job I had at a fashion brand, a lot of the people that went there did study that course, or they studied the fashion branding one. But I'm just not I'm not a studious person. Not got like a natural good memory where if I read something then that's in my brain. Like I had to study extra hard. It just wasn't enjoyable. It just really was rubbish. I didn't really get involved in like the student life either, because I went to a uni that was my hometown, so it wasn't as if I came from somewhere and then like went and stayed in halls and like made new pals and all that. I just went to uni and then went home. It did get me my first job, which was at a fashion brand in Glasgow, and I was hired as a social media assistant, and then I went up to like a social media exec or something, and then I started working more on like the campaigns and all that. I did really enjoy it for like the first few years. I really learned a lot about the industry, and I made really good contacts and did a lot of networking, which helped me kind of lead into influencing. Like the first blogger trip that I went on, it was to Coachella, which was unreal. The person that kind of got me on that job was an agent who I'd met through working at the brand, so it was very beneficial for me now, but I just grew out of it. Office life is not for me. I really do not like to be told what to do, especially in situations where I feel like I was kind of in the right. I don't know, but I'm a very much a person that just thinks I'm right all the time. Don't know. Anyway, I just didn't like being told what to do. I really want to be my own boss, and yeah, I just grew out of it. So that was it really. But I met loads of amazing friends that I'm still friends with to this day, and it was a good experience, but I just kind of grew out of it. What's your fave and least fave thing about being an influencer? How am I still doing this? Oh, that is minging. She's a big girl, or he's a big girl, he's a big boy. What's your fave thing, and then what's your least fave thing about being an influencer? So my fave thing, obviously, this is going to sound quite vulgar, but it's the free clothes. Like ever since I was a wee girl, I was obsessed with clothes. My mum let me used to just wear whatever I wanted, but she says that that's why I've got like a good sense of style now, because I kind of have been styling myself ever since a wee girl. But I always loved big dresses and looking nice. My mum said I'd have a tantrum if I didn't think my outfit was nice. So yeah, the fact that I can get free clothes from brands that I love is mega. Like, dream come true? Could be, yeah. And then my least favourite thing about it is if people give you hate or judge you or whatever. People say, oh, but that's just part of the job, that's just part of influencing. Well, nah, not really. Like, I hate the fact that I need to bite my tongue because people are like, oh, well, that's just influencing, isn't it? Like, if you're putting yourself out there, then you're kind of asking for it. And to that I say, well, nah, not really, because do you say that to somebody that works in a shop? Or do you say that to a police? Or just say it to anybody in a workplace whatsoever? Oh, do you know what, like, it's part of the job. It's really not hard to be nice to people, and like, why are you sat at home like behind your screen messaging random people? Like, pure creepy, grow up. It's a very minute thing, very small, does not inconvenience me in the slightest, and if it did I would stop doing it, so I have thick skin. So crack on. Advice for people wanting to get into fashion, and then some people said for people wanting to get into being a blogger, which I would say is kind of two different things. General, if you're wanting to get into fashion, the main thing I think is experience. Like I worked in cruise the whole time that I went to uni, so I had like a fashion retail experience, and then when I worked at cruise as well, I started doing their social media. So when I applied for a job in fashion doing social media, I already had experience and also had my degree. Also networking as well. I cannot, it's even now, like whenever I'm at events or shoots, meeting other bloggers, like I network like hell. And I think that's a general thing across the board for your career, networking. Always be nice to people. How to become a blogger? Trips, I don't know, man. Like I still really don't even see myself as being a blogger. That might sound ridiculous because obviously it is what I do. Just find your kind of style and just post consistently is what I see other influencers say. I really don't feel like I can even sit here and be like, this is what you need to do, because I'm not the biggest influencer in the world. Like I have about 2 followers. Yeah, sorry, I'm not more helpful there. Because like I actually don't really see myself as someone that can give you good tips on that, but I have seen other like very successful bloggers say post consistently. Next question. I'm not going to finish this pumpkin, by the way. This pumpkin will not, if I don't finish this by this question, I'm putting this pumpkin like this and that's it. It's not getting carved. Style icons. Okay, this is a fun one, I like it. Obviously everyone's pure obsessed with Hailey Bieber now, but Hailey Bieber, yes, she's stunning, absolute 10 out of 10. But she was reinvented by her stylist. Her stylist is Style Me Maeve, or Style Me Mauve, I'm not sure how you pronounce that name, on Instagram. She styles other celebrities as well. That girl is so cool and just so good at what she does. It shakes my whole world. So I would say if I have a style icon, I would say it's actually Style Me Maeve. Wait, I'm getting this bit, so I just need to focus now. Oh, this is fucking honking, man. She's empty, he's empty, so let's start stenciling. Ask, where did you get your inspo from? So Instagram and Pinterest. Pinterest is probably where I mainly get my inspiration from. I like looking at catwalks as well. I like looking at influencers that have been to the fashion weeks. I like their street style. But I think main one would be Pinterest. Describe yourself in 3 words. Whoa. How am I going to do that without sounding like a full of myself bastard? Sarcastic. Can I just go with sarcastic? That's probably enough. Cheeky. No, I'm really not painting myself a nice picture. I'll say one nice. I would say, oh, this is dead. Like this is dead. Oh, like look at me. I would probably say like, I would say loyal, very loyal, I suppose, especially to my family. If like someone tells me a secret, I would never like take it to my grave. Is this boring? Feels a bit boring. Most memorable holiday and why? This is such a hard one because I've been so lucky to have really amazing holidays. My favourite place to go in the entire world is Orlando. That is my favourite holiday in the world. I could go there every single year and not get bored, and it's the one place where like I actually feel butterflies in my stomach for going. Like I'm on the flight and I'm buzzing out my nut to get there. I'm my best me when I'm in Orlando. Wow, see Orlando Jelly. She is a really nice person. But maybe like most memorable would maybe be Amalfi Coast when me and Andy went, because I'd never seen anything like that in my life. It was honestly like, we got a boat one day and we were like going along the coast, and when I was looking at the mountains, it looked like a green screen. It looked as if I wasn't actually seeing that. So that was absolutely amazing. And then I know this is one, but also Coachella was absolutely like up there frightening. Like I still cannot believe that brands actually wanted to take me there. I went with W7, Skin Republic and Carmex, and it was just the best trip ever. I'd wanted to go to Coachella since I was like watching the hills. Like that was like a goal. So when I actually got there, I was like, nah, this is actually class. Will I try and do this without... Let me just focus 2 seconds, right? And then I'll answer your questions. I just know this is going to turn out tragic. Next question. What's your pet peeve? I've actually got a few. First one would be when people talk about money. Grow up, mate. Talk about money for. I just think it's dead vulgar and just like... If you not get anything more interesting to talk about than money, like, oh, I earn this much, or I spend this much, or what does that person do? I don't know. I just think it's a bit cheeky, so I hate it. It makes me really awkward as well when you're sat having a conversation with people and people are like, oh, I just did this, I just did that. I mean, it's different if you're like having a conversation like your pals or whatever. Obviously, there's times when you have to talk about money, but like when people just talk about money just to show off, I'm just like, oh, it's the least interesting thing you could talk about. And then my main one would probably be people with a lack of manners, like people that don't say please or thank you, that are rude to staff. Like, who do you think you are? Like, why do you think you're better than someone? Because you're not better than anyone. No one's better than anyone. So I just think to myself, like, if you're speaking to like a waiter like that, but then you're turning around and speaking to me nicely, like, you're not a nice person. And my mum and dad heavy drilled it into me to always be nice to everyone and like have good manners and stuff. Have I ever struggled with stretch marks? Have I fucking ever? Oh, body image just as a whole, but I do think as girls, it is a lot hard. We are obviously going to struggle with our bodies more, and in the age of social media, when you can literally go on your phone and see some 10 out of 10 sun-kissed, beautiful, very fit, skinny model from Australia while you're sat on your couch eating a rolling sausage and you're having a bad day, like, that's obviously going to mess with your brain. I don't think anyone's alone with that either. I've got stretch marks on my thighs, like around my bum, obviously just when I like blossomed and grew up. It's just normal that you get them. It wasn't necessarily that I pure put on a load of weight or whatever, but in my head I'm like pure conditioned to think that stretch marks are a bad thing, and stretch marks don't exist because you never see it in a magazine or Instagram. I'm like, oh my god, I'm a fat bastard, I've got stretch marks. Not true. Everyone has stretch marks. Bloody Bella Hadid has got stretch marks. I do think we are like going towards like a nicer, more accepted, body positive movement on Instagram and social media, which I think is quite good. So fingers crossed by the time I have children, and if I've got wee girls, because I think it is girls that deal with it more, hopefully by the time I've got wee girls and on Instagram, it isn't going to be as toxic or as bad as your mental health as maybe what our generation dealt with it. Nobody's perfect, team. Nobody's perfect. Have you ever felt self-conscious about being ginger and being pale? Absolutely. School was an absolute nightmare. If there's any ginger people out there, I don't know how big it is in England with this, but being ginger in Scotland is probably the biggest things to get absolutely slaughtered for. Like, school was just a nightmare. I mean, there was this girl that was like a few years above me, and she used to just shout Bianca, because how Bianca from EastEnders.
Keep your fat nose out of it!
So I'd be walking across the playground and this mad bird would be like, Bianca! And I was heavy scared of her, so I just let her call me Bianca. I was like, yes mate, what's happening? Should I say this? Not sure. There was a good looking boy, right, that was in her year. It was in the time of like MSN, and I was talking to him on MSN, and he was like, yeah, like, I think you're good looking, and like, I probably would ask you out if maybe like you dyed your hair. Like, so see if your dad had brown hair, I'd probably talk to you. I remember being pure distraught about it. I was like, oh my fucking god, this guy does not want to ask me out because he's mortified that I've got ginger hair, as if I'm like some kind of fucking creature that's just crawled out of the ground, that's got fucking moles all over her face. Like, it's a hair colour. My mum also, like I said, my mum had a hairdresser, so I remember there was this pure cool girl, she had a Helly Hansen. She had ginger hair, but she had blonde streaks, but she was like a popular girl, so I was like, right, maybe if I get blonde streaks, then I'll be a wee bit more accepted. And I went home to my mum and I was like, Mum, I want blonde streaks, and she was like, categorically no. And also I'm pure scared of my mum because she's a severe ball buster, so if I'd ever went somewhere, it got blonde streaks put in my hair and I came in with that, then she would have probably packed me out. So I just stuck with my ginger hair, and basically the moral of the story is now I absolutely love my ginger hair. If you're like, I like to be different, but I do actually really love that it's not a very common colour of hair. And also, like, see that we saying like no one is you and that is your power, that is very, very true, because see, a lot of the work that I get now, it's hair related, and it's because I'm ginger, and it's because there's not really like loads of gingers there, so there's more work for us troops. There is more work in the ginger bowl for us. So see, if you've got ginger hair, you could be making cash on it, you know what I mean? And yeah, obviously with being pale because I fake tan every single blooming night. It sounds so deep, right? But see, when I've not got fake tan, I honestly feel horrific about myself. I feel fat, I don't like my face, I don't feel like I can wear clothes and be confident. I think this is why I also like winter more than I like summer. See, like during summer and there's a random nice day, and I've not did my fake tan the night before, I'm like, I actually can't go out and enjoy that day because I'm actually horrifically ugly without fake tan on. Yeah, thank God for the fake tan brands out there for helping my mental health, because if fake tan wasn't a thing, I'd probably never leave the house. I don't struggle with my hair anymore, absolutely love my ginger hair, so for anybody that ever called me ginger when I was at school, fuck you. Workout routine and what I eat. I don't really want to go into this too much. Everyone's different. Also, like, see all my pictures on Instagram, severe, like, knowing my angles, knowing what to do to make me look skinnier. Not saying I'm pure, I don't face tune myself skinny or anything like that, wall calm down. I know my angles and all that. I don't really want to go into this too much because I don't want this to be a trigger for people. I know that people can get, like, really obsessed. Everyone's different as well, like genetics, height-wise. For example, I'm really short, so I can't exactly eat as much as what someone that is 6 foot tall could eat. So I'm not going to sit here and say like my calories or whatever, but generally I try my hardest to work out maybe like 5 to 6 times a week, whether that's like pure intense working out or not. Also, that you don't need to work out that much at all. What I'm saying is it's all about your genetics and stuff. I do genuinely enjoy, not a pure like love the gym, but it starts my day off right, and it's really good for like my head as well. It kind of clears any like anxiety or bad thoughts that I've been having, and like when I come out the gym I always feel like I'm ready to like attack my day. So I like to do like boxing, really good stress reliever, walking, running, some wee ab stuff. I love the Courtney Black app. If no one has looked at her Instagram, give it a follow because she is unreal. Also, what I eat, not telling you the calories I eat again because everybody's different, but I just try my hardest to eat as well as I can, and then on the weekends I kind of try and just enjoy myself and not take it too seriously. And when I was a wee bit younger, when I was like 18, 19, I got really obsessed with it, and it's not good to be like that at all, troops. Like, life is really too short. Eat well, go to the gym because it's really good for your health, but try your hardest to not get too obsessed with it, okay? Should I start actually carving this instead of just fucking cuddling it like it's a child? Do you dye your hair? No, because like I said, I was absolutely petrified of my mum. My hair, my colour is natural. I actually find that quite wild now that people are, like, that's why I'm questioning is being ginger like still a slagging at school or just like a slagging in general, because people do ask me if I've dyed my hair. So I think to myself, God, do people actually want this colour of hair now? Because that was never the case. If I could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? I would really, really, really love to live in America for a wee while. Not forever. Well, the next question is, would you ever move away from Glasgow? So these kind of tie in together. I would move away from Glasgow 100%. I'd quite like to broaden my horizons for a wee while. Really just live out the American dream. Not that it's in any really fit shape now, is it? America's hit a bit of a badging. But I would love to live there. Is anyone else sad when, like, now, did you ever like watch American films and be like, oh my god, I want to go to like an American high school or an American college, but now also that dream's dead because we're old and I'm never going to live that dream out. It's like Harry Potter, like I'm never going to go to Hogwarts. So sometimes when I think about that, I kind of get a wee bit down. So perhaps I should go to America and give my children and just that life and then just live through them. I would love to live in New York. Would that not just be the ultimate dream? See the fact that they get 4 seasons, like they get severe like winter, snow, it's freezing, you can get wrapped up, go to Central Park, like ice skate around the Rockefeller tree, like mind-boggling to me. And then they get summer, so you can go like canoeing in Central Park's wee lake and all that. And then I think New York would be the absolute dream if I could stay there for like even like 3 months or something. If I could stay there for 3 months, that is a dream. I'd love that. We're probably at the end of this year where there's going to be an apocalypse and we're all probably going to die anyway, so I just need to dream about that. His eyes are dead small. They're like mine. Maybe I should just keep them like that and he can be like my brother. He's orange as well. Oh my god, Paul's my brother. Paul, you're my long lost brother. What's happening, mate? How did you and Andy meet and how long have you been together? This actually hurt my ego a bit because it was the main question that I got asked. How did you and Andy meet? Nobody gives 2 flying fucks about you, Jilly. They just want to know how you and Andy met. Me and Andy met, so actually, well, this is just going to reveal how much I'm mad with bastard I am. Apparently me and Andy actually already met on Queen Street after a night out in Glasgow once. And apparently I was arguing. Basically, I was being mad with it in Queen Street, and him and his pal were standing there apparently, and then like Andy came over and just kind of, I think had been like like chillax or whatever. And then apparently I was cheeky to him and his friend, which is so out of order because his pal's so nice. Should I be saying this? Anyway, apparently that's when we actually met, but I hand on heart don't remember it. I do not remember it. That's terrible, like how mad with it I must have been. Mad with it, for anyone that's not from Scotland, is really drunk. Mad with it. Like you're mad with the drink. So I don't remember it, completely blacked out. And then, of my knowledge, we actually met at a mutual friend's 30th. Again, blacked out drunk, mad with it. And I had to get dropped home because I waited everywhere and my pals went out to an after party after it and I got took home. And then, this story's so funny, right? So, we still to this day argue about who gave whose number. Andy asked me for my number categorically, but he says that he's taking advantage of the fact that I was heavy mad with it and can't like have blackouts of the night. But I remember that he asked me for my number. He says I asked him for his number, whatever night. But then the next day, messaged or whatever, and he was like, oh, are you okay or whatever? Well, you never believe what I did last night or something. So he texted a number thinking it was my number and says, oh, I wish I could get this message, but I can't. It's an old phone. He'd messaged thinking this number was my number, and he was like, oh, hey, it's Andy. How are you feeling? Like, did you get home okay or whatever? Checking that I never died. And then this number replied back and went like that, aye, son, I'm fine. So he said he was sat at this after party like that. Why the fuck is a wee bird just said, aye, son, I'm fine? Like, why is this bird calling me son? So he says they just patched it. He said they just patched it and never replied because he was like, nah, I'm not speaking to a bird that's calling me son. And then the next day, his pal Matty messaged him and was like, mate, why were you texting my mom last night saying, you alright? Fuck knows how. He'd messaged his pal's mum and said, I hope you got home alright or something. And his pal's mum must be like, why is he texting me? So she replied back and says, aye son, I'm alright. Oh, funny as fuck. So yeah, that was how we met, and we've been with each other for 5 years in June there. Such a long time. Such a long time. Right, look, I've did his nose. Paul's got a nose. Are we planning on having babies? We do want children 100%, but I'm not planning on it right now at all. I've got a lot of stuff in my head that I want to do before we have babies, and it's a massive commitment, and I just want to fully, I know people say like you're never going to be ready for a baby, and I do understand that, but there's definitely more things I want to tick off my list before my life completely changes, because I'm sorry, I don't care what anyone says, when you have a baby your life changes. Like, it's not the life that you had before. I know it doesn't stop your life, and I know you can have an amazing life with children, but there's things that I want to do not being a mother first. In my head now I'd like 4, but recently I've been kind of going towards more 3. Like, I'd like 2 boys and then a girl, because I love, so like Hudson and Addie, like I love that my big cousin's got them, and she's got like a wee boys, like 2 wee boys that are best pals. It's so cute. And I don't know if anyone follows Hattie Bourne, but she's got 2 wee boys, and she had them like really close to each other, and they're best pals, and they're just so cute. Then I'd obviously want a wee girl as well, and then she's got 2 big brothers that are pure going to look after her, and she'll be fine. But if I have like 16 boys and I don't have a girl, then I'm just going to keep trying for a girl, aren't I? Because like, I need a wee mini-me. I need somebody to dress up. Like, does that not just show that I'm just not ready for children? Like, because right now I'm saying that I want a wee girl so that I can dress her the same as me. Like, grow up? No, that's irresponsible. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Oh, 5-year plan. I do have a severe 5-year plan. 5 years I'll be 30, so I feel like 30 is like a big, like, you need to have your shit together thing. If I don't have my shit together, it's fine, but I'd like to work towards that. So be a business owner. Am working on that right now. That's one secret I'll never tell. Be on the property ladder. Be married, definitely at least be married. I've always said that I'd like to have children when I'm 30 as well, so I need to severely work on my career until I'm 30. So 5-year plan, have a business, be on the property ladder, be married, and having lived away somewhere, or be living away somewhere. What's the best gig you've ever been to? Hands down, easy question, Drake last year. We went to Manchester to see him because he didn't come to Glasgow. Was I the most drunk? Nah, I probably wasn't the most drunk I've ever been because I'm an absolute riot when I'm mad with it, but I was mad with it. Away with the fairies. I danced that, right, so where we were stood, there was railings in front of us, right? And I danced that much that I had bruises in my knees. There was bruises all over my knees because I was dancing like this. And I was scalping my knees against the railing doing that. Andy was absolutely livid with me because that's how mad with it I was, and he says that I was like singing, well, I thought I was singing rapping. I was singing rapping so loud that he says that there were people in front of us that were doing this and like looking at me doing that. What, obviously when you go to a gig you're going to sing along, aren't you? And Drake is just he is my number one as well. Fave Harry Potter film and why? This is a really hard question, guys. I feel like I can't really pick like my favourite, but I can definitely give you my top 3. And this is in no particular order either. So Order of the Phoenix is in my top 3 for sure. I'm not really sure why, I just love it. Deathly Hallows Part 2, it all comes together. Like, how can Deathly Hallows Part 2 not be in your top 3? And then it's a toss up between Half-Blood Prince, because the way that film just comes together. And I feel like Half-Blood Prince, like Harry Potter took a twist and it was more grown up, and it was a wee bit darker and stuff. Probably as well Philosopher's Stone, because it was the first ever. Like, I love watching the Philosopher's Stone. It's so nostalgic. Like, I remember going to see it in the pictures when I was a wee girl and I was pure obsessed with it. So I feel like Philosopher's Stone has like nostalgia attached to it, so I can't not mention that. By the way, I can't recommend enough, see if you are carving a pumpkin, you have to get tools, because these tools are great. These are from, these tools are my tools. I sound like a wee guy that works for City Building. Okay, last question. I really hope that this hasn't been boring, because it's just been a lot of me talking, isn't it? Anyway, advice to younger self. Isn't that a nice one to finish on? Advice to your younger self would be to not care what anyone else thinks of you. I really wish I could have told myself that when I was younger, because I think I would have did a lot more things that I would have wanted to do. I wouldn't have dwelled on things that I'd heard people say about me. I just think you could be the best looking, fittest, nicest, most successful, humble, down to earth. Like, you could be the perfect person and someone out there is still going to talk about you or have something to say about you. Troops, there's 7 billion, is there 7 billion people in the world? I think so, there could be more, but there's 7 billion people in the world. Like, why should I be thinking to myself every single one of them would like me? Of course they're not. I could totally understand why someone doesn't like me. Like, why should that upset me? Do you know what I mean? It shouldn't. So I wish I came to that realization a lot earlier in my life. That is definitely my number one thing. And if there's any younger people, or even if you're a wee bit older, just don't care what people think of you, because people are going to talk about you anyway. So you may as well just enjoy your life. You only get one life as well. So imagine you're lying in your deathbed and you're like that's another thing as well. Like, you are going to die one day. That motivates me in ways I can't describe, knowing that I'm actually going to die very probably soon. And then I'm going to be lying in my bed like, oh, I pure cared about what Sally said about me when I was in 6th year. Like, no, come on now. We don't have time. We don't have time for it. As long as you can happily go to your bed at night and know that you're a good person, I think I'm doing all right. He's cute. My bro's cute. Okay, so thanks for watching this get to know me while I carve a pumpkin. I really hope it wasn't boring. I just can't help but feel that this is very rather narcissistic. Like, oh, let's sit and talk about myself for 30 minutes. But yeah, okay, bye from me and Paul. Thanks for watching.